My name is Ryan Mitchell. I'm 27 years old. When I was 20, my parents stood in front of 300 people at my brother's college graduation and said into a microphone, "We should have stopped after him. Our second son is useless." The room laughed. My brother laughed. I didn't. It was May 18th. Launsenling Ishaba. A packed arena just outside Chicago. Rows of folding chairs. Families dressed up like success was contagious. I was sitting 12 rows behind my own parents because they only had 4 tickets near the stage. It was his day. 8 seconds. That's how long the applause lasted after my father delivered the punchline. 8 seconds of strangers clapping while I stared at the back of my mother's head and felt something in my chest go cold and permanent. I walked out before the ceremony ended. I never spoke to them again. Not for Thanksgiving. Not for Christmas. Not when my grandfather died. Not for 7 years. I blocked 11 contacts that night. Changed my number. Left the group chats. Disappeared. They didn't come looking. 3 months ago. My phone lit up at 9:47 p.m. Unknown number. Tres ut dois presech area code. Come home. My mother said. Your brother has. She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. What they didn't know was that I had spent 7 years building a life they couldn't touch. A career they didn't fund. An apartment they didn't co-sign. A version of me that didn't need their approval to function. And they definitely didn't know this. When their perfect son collapsed, I was the only one strong enough to catch him. This is what happened when the golden child fell apart, and the disappointment became the last man standing. We grew up at 18 Briarwood Lane. Naperville, Illinois. 2-story brick colonial. White trim. Black shutters. Lawn cut twice a week whether it needed it or not. My mother liked the house to look controlled. My father liked the neighbors to think we were winning. From the outside, we were clean. Polished. Predictable. Inside, we were a ranking system. My brother, Connor Mitchell, was born in 1995. I was born in 1997. 2 years apart. Different planets. Connor made Dean's List every semester at Northwestern. Finance major. Internship at a private equity firm by sophomore year. Student investment club president. The kind of resume people build careers on. I kept a 3 gigapascals in computer engineering at Illinois Tech and worked 2 campus IT shifts to cover what scholarships didn't. Connor received a $18,000 a year merit award. My parents framed the letter. I received $12,500 in federal loans and an email that started with, "We regret to inform you." My father glanced at it once and said, "Well, you'll figure it out." That was his version of encouragement. But the real hierarchy showed up at 6:30 p.m. every night. Dinner was mandatory. Phones away. Same seats. Connor sat to my father's right, the place of authority. I sat at the far end of the table closest to the kitchen. Close enough to refill water glasses. Far enough to be peripheral. "So, Connor," my father would say. "Cutting steak with clean, deliberate strokes. Tell us about the internship." "It's just portfolio modeling." Connor would shrug. "That's my son." My father would answer, nodding. "Leadership. Discipline. That's what matters." Then his eyes would shift to me like he'd just remembered there was another child present. "How are your grades?" "Fine." "What class are you struggling with now?" I stopped explaining after junior year of high school. I started counting instead. "Why can't you be more like your brother?" 47 times between freshman year and graduation. I kept track in the notes app on my phone. Dates. Context. No commentary. April 12th. Launsenling Ishalo. Scholarship letters arrived. Connor opened his at the kitchen island. $18,000 renewable for 4 years. My mother opened a bottle of wine at 2:47 p.m. My father made reservations at Morton's Steakhouse in Oak Brook. To Connor, my mother said, raising her glass, "Northwestern is lucky to have you." I had gotten into Illinois Tech that same morning. I mentioned it once. "That's good," my father said without looking up from his phone. "Pass the bread." The bill at dinner was $312. I saw it when he signed. They spent more celebrating Connor in one night than they contributed to my first semester. They paid his tuition in full. I signed promissory notes. Our bedrooms told the rest of the story. Connor's room 17 by 18 feet. Hardwood floors refinished junior year. Queen bed. Custom desk. Dual monitors. Framed awards on the wall. Mine 9 by 10. Twin mattress I'd had since I was 9. Desk bought from a garage sale. Paint chipped near the closet door. One narrow window facing the neighbor's fence. Sophomore year I asked for a larger desk. My laptop barely fit next to my textbooks. My mother sighed. "We just spent $4. 000, renovating Connor's room. You'll have to wait. I waited 4 years. They never brought it up again. I learned to reduce my footprint. Smaller room. Smaller expectations. Fewer requests. It was easier that way. In a house where approval was currency. I stopped trying to earn it. I didn't know I was preparing for something. Preparing for the moment they'd say it out loud. Preparing for the day they'd erase me publicly. May 18th. Lanqianling Ishiba. I woke up at 7:02 a.m. in my dorm at Illinois Tech. Sophomore year. Finals week behind me. Summer ahead. Connor was graduating that afternoon from Northwestern. 4 years. Perfect GPA. Full-time offer from Bainbridge Capital waiting. Golden Sun. I shaved carefully that morning. Navy suit. The only one I owned. Bought on clearance 2 years earlier for $119. Pressed it myself in the communal laundry room. No one asked if I needed a ride. No one asked if I was ready. We left the house at 9:41 a.m. My father drove. My mother in the passenger seat. Connor behind my father. I sat behind my mother. Staring out the window at suburban traffic lights, turning green and red on schedule. Ryan Fieldhouse. Capacity over 7. Ling ling ling. That day maybe 3. 000 filled the folding chairs. The air smelled like perfume. Hairspray. An expectation. Before we walked in. My father handed me a ticket. We only have 4 seats near the stage. He said. You don't mind sitting farther back? Right. This is Connor's day. He didn't wait for my answer. Row M. Seat 16. 12 rows behind my own family. I watched them take photos with Connor before he went backstage. My mother adjusted his tie. My father clapped him on the back. They laughed with other parents. Compared salaries and job offers like baseball stats. No one turned around to check if I'd found my seat. The ceremony began at 11:03 a.m. Speeches about leadership. Excellence. The future belonging to the disciplined. I didn't hear most of it. I watched the backs of my parents' heads. Then came the parent tribute segment. 5 families selected to speak about their graduating child. A microphone at center stage. Spotlight. Audience quiet. Thomas and Elaine Mitchell. My parents stood. My mother smoothed her dress. My father adjusted his tie like he'd practiced in the mirror. They walked up the steps slowly. Confidently. The microphone squealed once before settling. Connor has always been extraordinary. My father began. His voice carried through the arena speakers. From the day he was born. We knew he was special. Driven. Focused. Different. Scattered applause. He smiled. Honestly. He added. Leaning into the mic. We should have stopped after him. A few laughs. Nervous at first. Then he finished it. Our second son is useless. The room exploded. Laughter rolled outward like a wave. Loud. Sharp. People slapping their knees. Parents nudging each other. My mother stepped toward the microphone. Smiling. Well, she said lightly. At least one of them makes us proud. More laughter. Applause. Connor stood on stage in his cap and gown. Shaking his head like it was playful. Dad. Stop. He said into the mic. Grinning. But he was laughing. 8 seconds. I counted. 8 full seconds of applause. My hands were locked around the plastic armrests of my chair. My vision narrowed. My hearing sharpened and dulled at the same time. Useless. The word replayed clean and precise. The ceremony continued. Another parent spoke. Another round of applause. I don't remember a single word after that. The ceremony ended at 1:46 p.m. Families rushed the floor. Photos. Hugs. Tears. Champagne bottles popping in the parking lot. I stayed seated for 4 minutes after everyone else stood. Just staring at the empty stage. Then I walked out. Level 2 of the parking garage. Row D. 74 degrees. Clear sky. I reached my car before I heard my name. Ryan. My mother's voice. Sharp. Impatient. I turned. They were walking toward me. Connor still in his gown. There you are. She said. We've been looking for you. I looked at her. You humiliated me. My father laughed. Actually laughed. Oh. Come on. He said. It was a joke. Lighten up. You told 300 people I'm useless. We never said that. My mother replied quickly. You said you should have stopped after him. You're being dramatic. She folded her arms. Why do you always make everything about you? This is Connor's graduation. My father checked his watch. We have a 3:00 p.m. reservation. Are you coming or not? Like nothing had happened. Connor stepped forward. Hey. he said, touching my shoulder. You okay? I looked at him. Waiting. One word. I said quietly. Just say it wasn't right. He hesitated. Dad's jokes are a lot sometimes. He said. But you know how they are. They didn't mean it. They said I shouldn't exist. That's not what they meant. That's exactly what they meant. He exhaled. Look. I'm sorry you're upset. But can we not do this right now? That was the moment. Not the microphone. Not the laughter. That. I was alone. I had always been alone. I'm not coming to lunch. I said. My father shrugged. Suit yourself. My mother shook her head. Don't be childish. I'm done. I said. Done with what? She asked. All of it. She laughed lightly. We'll see you at home. They turned and walked back toward the elevators. Connor looked back once. Then, he followed them. I stood there for a full minute. Then I got into my car. I didn't start the engine for 37 minutes. Just sat there. Hands on the steering wheel. Breathing. At Deutschen Sächsche Tre P.M. I drove back to campus. That night. I blocked them. All of them. 11 contacts in 23 minutes. Mother. Father. Connor. Aunts. Uncles. Cousins who had laughed. I left the family group chat. I deactivated Facebook. I changed my number 2 days later. And I made a decision. I would never need them again. I had $912 in my checking account the night I blocked them. 2 weeks left on my dorm contract. No plan. Just distance. June 2nd. Landshandling Yisherba. 8:11 a.m. I waited until my parents left for work. I drove back to the house with a spare key I still had on my keychain. 2 hours. That's all I gave myself. I packed like I was extracting evidence. Clothes. Laptop. External hard drive. Textbooks. Passport. No framed photos. No childhood trophies. No yearbooks. I left the house key on the kitchen counter. Next to a Father's Day card I'd bought 3 weeks earlier. Still sealed. I fit 20 years into 4 boxes and 2 duffel bags. I loaded them into my car alone. No note. No goodbye. That summer. I signed up for resident assistant training. Free housing. $850 stipend. It wasn't glamorous. It was survival. I applied for 3 jobs. Campus IT help desk $14.25 an hour. Warehouse night shift $17.10 an hour. Freelance coding support on weekends $28 an hour when clients showed up. I took all 3. Weekdays looked like this 6:00 a.m. 12:00 m. IT help desk. And a nichperadel. M. Petnichperpetter. M. Summer classes. Chest 3 Z Pro. M. 138%. M. Warehouse. Weekends debugging code for strangers in different time zones. 60 to 70 hours a week. I stopped checking my phone. No missed calls. No apologies. By August. I'd made 8,400. After rent deposits. Textbooks. Food. Utilities I saved $5,600. I lost 11 pounds. I didn't cry. I didn't have time. Fall 2018. Junior year. I became a full RA for the engineering dorm. 42 freshmen on my floor. Most of them 18 and terrified. The supervisor asked during training. Being an RA means you're responsible for their safety. Can you handle that? Yes. No one had ever been responsible for mine. I kept the help desk job 20 hours a week. Dropped the warehouse. Replaced it with a cybersecurity internship 2 evenings a week. Unpaid for the first 3 months. Experience. They called it. 30 credits. 42 residents. 2 jobs. I handled 3 alcohol incidents. 1 fight. 2 anxiety breakdowns at 3:00 a.m. When someone knocked on my door crying. I opened it. I never had that. My GPA that semester 3. Wushaloo. Not perfect. But earned. Thanksgiving break. The dorm emptied. I stayed. Christmas break. Same thing. I picked up extra shifts in the server room while campus went quiet. On December 25th. I ate microwaved pasta alone and worked a 6-hour maintenance window. Holiday pay. No family. Freedom felt a lot like isolation. January 2019. I started lifting weights in the campus gym. 3 nights a week. Devet 3 to 7 m. Deadlifts. Bench press. Pull-ups. It wasn't about appearance. It was about control. You can't control what people say about you. You can control whether the bar moves. By senior year. My resume looked solid. Cybersecurity internship converted to paid. $22 an hour. Help desk promoted me to student lead. I slept 5 hours a night. I stopped expecting encouragement. Dr. Patel, my data security professor, pulled me aside one afternoon. You think clearly under pressure, he said. Have you considered incident response as a career? I shrugged. I just need something stable. He nodded. You're better than you think. I didn't argue. Spring 2020. COVID shut campus down March 13th. I moved into a $650 a month sublet with 2 roommates who barely spoke. Graduation was virtual. May 16th. Lansendling Arsher. 11:00 a.m. My name scrolled across a livestream screen. Ryan Mitchell. Bachelor of Science. Computer Engineering. Pre-recorded applause. I sat on my bed. Clapped once. That was it. 4 people texted congratulations. My supervisor. Dr. Patel. 1 friend from the dorm. A former resident. 0 messages from my family. They didn't know I'd graduated. They didn't ask. June 2020. I accepted a full-time offer as a junior cybersecurity analyst at a mid-sized healthcare firm. $64,000 a year. My first paycheck after taxes $3,108. I stared at it for a long time. I rented a 540 square foot apartment in Logan Square. $1,450 a month. Hardwood floors. 1 window facing west. I bought furniture from IKEA. Assembled it alone. First couch I'd ever owned. August Almeida. I started therapy. Dr. Morales. Tuesdays at 7:00 p.m. First session, he asked. Why are you here? I don't want to feel angry all the time. At who? I didn't answer for a while. I don't know how to not prove something. That was closer to the truth. Therapy wasn't dramatic. No breakdowns. Mostly silence. Sometimes he'd ask, when did you first believe you weren't enough? I'd say, it doesn't matter. But it did. Years passed in measurable increments. 2021. Promotion. To analyst. Siwan Lansendmayan. 2022. Incident response team. Bawan Yitsenmayan. Savings account hit $15,000. Student loans down to $18,400. I built routines. Work. Gym. Groceries. Laundry. Repeat. I dated occasionally. Nothing serious. One woman, Claire, told me once, you don't let people in. I said, I don't need to. She replied, everyone needs to. We lasted 3 months. She wasn't wrong, but I wasn't ready. By early 2025, my life was stable. Senior cybersecurity analyst. $96,000 salary. Savings at $31,000. 1-bedroom apartment I'd renewed twice. Some days I went hours without thinking about my family. Other days I'd hear laughter in a restaurant and feel something tighten in my chest. It passed faster each year. I wasn't healed, but I was functioning. I had built something they didn't fund. Something they didn't validate. Something that didn't collapse without their approval. I thought I was done. I thought the story ended with silence. Then, on February 11th, Lansendling Arshawu. At Noah Patrazet Shishapta Placey. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Tre Sute. Dois Prezece area. Code. I answered. And my past stepped back into my kitchen. February 11th. Lansendling Arshawu. Devet Sedemenstiri Set p.m. I was in my kitchen pouring hot water over a tea bag. Apartment quiet. Dishwasher humming. Laptop open on the counter with half-written code. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Tre Sute Dois Prezece area code. Chicago. I almost ignored it. Work emergencies usually came through Slack. Not random calls. But something about the area code made my chest tighten. I answered. Hello. Silence for 3 seconds. Then Ryan. It's Mom. Her voice sounded thinner. Older. Like it had been sanded down. I didn't say anything. 8 seconds passed. How did you get this number? I asked. I found it online. Please don't hang up. My thumb hovered over the red button. I should have ended it. 7 years. No contact. No apologies. What do you want? My jaw tightened. What about him? She inhaled sharply. Like she'd been holding it in for days. He's not well. Not well. That was vague on purpose. Define not well. She started crying. Not loud. Controlled. The way she used to cry at movies, enough to signal emotion. Not enough to lose composure. He lost his job 4 months ago. He won't leave his apartment. He won't answer our calls. We went there last week and it was she stopped. What was it? There were pills. Bottles. Needles. The word hung in the air. Needles. Connor. The disciplined one. The clean one. The one who corrected my posture at the dinner table. What kind of pills? I asked. Oxycodone. At first. After his accident in 2022. Then. Other things. Of course. I leaned against the counter. And you're calling me because he won't talk to us. She said quickly. He screams at us to leave. But maybe he'll listen to you. A short laugh escaped me. No humor in it. Why would he listen to me? You're his brother. No. I said calmly. I stopped being his brother the day you let 300 people laugh at me. Silence. She didn't deny it. She didn't apologize either. We were joking. She said quietly. I closed my eyes. Don't say that. We didn't mean it. You said I was useless. That's not what you said you should have stopped after him. Her breathing grew uneven. This isn't about that. She whispered. It's always about that. 3 minutes into the call. My tea had gone cold. She hadn't said sorry. Not once. What do you want from me? I asked. Come home. She said. Please. Just talk to him. We don't know what to do anymore. You don't know what to do. The people who always knew everything. The ones who had blueprints for my failures. Now they didn't know what to do. Where is he? I asked. Back in Naperville. We moved him home after he lost the apartment. Of course they did. What aren't you telling me? I asked. She hesitated. We need to understand how this happened. There it was. Blame. You think I had something to do with this? No. That's not what I'm saying. It sounds like it. We just thought maybe he tried to reach you. I changed my number. Yes. But maybe before that. Maybe he emailed. He didn't. Another pause. We found drafts. She said quietly. On his laptop. Emails to you. From 2023. My stomach dropped. He never sent them. No. Or they didn't go through. Silence again. Ryan. She said carefully. Will you come? Or not? Flat. Transactional now. I looked around my apartment. The couch I paid for. The frame certification on the wall. The quiet. 7 years of building something stable. If I went back, I wasn't going as the kid from row M. I wasn't going to ask for anything. I need to think. I said. Please. She whispered. He's your brother. I ended the call at 10:03 p.m. She texted immediately. Come home. Your brother has please. We need you. I stared at the screen for 22 minutes. Typed a response. Deleted it. Typed again. Deleted it. I didn't sleep that night. At doyops prziche. Another text. Begging you. The people who called me useless were begging. And I hated that part of me was considering it. I didn't answer that night. I answered 2 days later. February 13th. 10:12 a.m. I'll come. I told her. But I'm not staying. And we're doing this my way. There was relief in her exhale. Too much of it. Saturday. 12 p.m. I drove from Chicago to Naperville in silence. 41 minutes. The closer I got to Briarwood Lane, the tighter my grip became on the steering wheel. Not panic. Not anger. Just awareness. I wasn't the same person who left. The house looked identical. Brick facade. Trim freshly painted. Lawn cut too short. Control. Connor's old black Audi was in the driveway. Covered in dirt. One tire low. My parents' Lexus and Camry parked beside it. I sat in my car for 3 full minutes before texting I'm here. The front door opened. My mother stepped out first. She looked smaller. Hair more gray than I remembered. Shoulders slightly rounded. My father stood behind her. Same posture. Same measured expression. I got out of the car. Thank God you came. My mother said. Stepping forward. She opened her arms. I didn't move. Her hands dropped. Where is he? I asked. Upstairs. She said quickly. He doesn't know you're coming. You didn't tell him. We were afraid he'd refuse. I walked past them into the house. The smell hit first. Vanilla candle. Coffee. Lemon cleaner. Nothing had changed. The living room was arranged exactly the same. Beige couch. Glass coffee table. Framed photos on the mantel. I counted them. 14. All Connor. Graduation. Internship awards. Ski trip. Family vacations. Not a single photo of me. Not even from before. Erased clean. My father closed the door behind me. We're glad you're here. He said. I'm not here for you. He didn't respond. I stayed standing. Before I go upstairs. I said. I want the full story. No edits. My mother sat down. My father remained standing. He graduated in 2018. She began. Bainbridge Capital. 70-hour weeks. It was intense. But he handled it. Then, in March 2022, he was rear-ended on I-290. Herniated disc. Dart, Lebesh. The doctor prescribed oxycodone, 30 milligrams twice a day. I didn't interrupt. He took it as prescribed at first. She continued. But when the prescription ended, he said the pain was still there. He found another doctor. And another. Doctor shopping. I said. My father stiffened. He was in pain. He snapped. He was addicted. Don't label him like that. What would you prefer? Discipline dependency. My mother flinched. We didn't realize how bad it was until summer 2023. She said. He'd lost weight. Stopped sleeping. Missed work. And he hid it. We thought we could manage it privately. Privately. Reputation management. He lost his job in October. My father added. They said performance issues. Attendance. And you moved him back here. Yes. To keep it quiet. My father's jaw tightened. We were protecting him. You were protecting yourselves. Silence. Then my father leaned forward slightly. There's something else. He said. I waited. We found emails on his laptop. Drafts. To you? I know. My mother blinked. You know. You mentioned it on the phone. He tried to reach you. She said. Multiple times. And they weren't sent. Why? They exchanged a look. The kind that carries history. My stomach tightened. Why? I repeated. My mother swallowed. We updated his phone and laptop last year. Cleaned things up. Organized contacts. Organized how. She hesitated too long. Your email was wrong. She said quietly. I went still. Wrong how? There was a period in it. We removed it. I stared at her. My email doesn't have a period. We didn't realize. Yes. You did. My father stepped in. We thought it would be better if he didn't depend on you. Depend on me. You hadn't spoken in years. We didn't think reopening that would help his recovery. He wasn't in recovery. We were trying to stabilize him. You cut off the one person he was trying to reach. That's not fair. Fair. I laughed once. Short. Controlled. You think this is about fair? My pulse was steady. That was the frightening part. You made sure I didn't exist. I said. Even digitally. That's not true. You changed his contacts so he couldn't reach me. We were protecting him. From what? From me. Neither of them said it. But it sat in the room. Heavy. Where is he? I asked. Second floor. End of the hall. Of course. The master bedroom. I walked toward the stairs without waiting. 14 steps. Same carpet. Same framed awards lining the wall. Connor at 5. Connor at 10. Connor at 16. Connor at 22. No May. I reached the end of the hallway. The door was closed. Light faint under the crack. I knocked once. No answer. Twice. Go away. A voice said from inside. Hoarse. Angry. It's Ryan. Silence. What are you doing here? He asked. Mom called me. A bitter laugh from inside. Of course she did. Open the door. No. I drove 40 minutes. Then drive back. I leaned my forehead briefly against the wood. I'm not here for them. I said. I'm here for you. 30 seconds passed. Then footsteps. The lock turned. The door opened 3 inches. Chain still on. One bloodshot. I looked out. You look different. He said. So do you. He removed the chain. The door opened fully. The room was dark. Curtains drawn. Air heavy. Clothes on the floor. Takeout containers. 2 empty pill bottles on the nightstand. 1 cap searing on the dresser. Connor stood barefoot on the carpet. He looked smaller. Not physically weaker, just hollowed out. Shoulders slumped. Eyes sunken. Beard uneven. This was the golden son. Perfect GPA. Captain of everything. Now he couldn't hold eye contact for more than 2 seconds. I stepped inside. Closed the door behind me. He didn't speak. Neither did I. We stood there in the dark room that had always belonged to him. For the first time in our lives. We were the same height. The room smelled stale. Curtains closed. 1 lamp on the desk casting a weak yellow light across the carpet. Clothes piled in the corner. A laptop open but dark. 2 pill bottles on the nightstand. Different pharmacies. Connor sat down on the edge of the bed. I didn't take the chair. I sat on the floor. Back against the wall. Equal height. Neutral ground. For a full minute. Neither of us spoke. They called you. He said finally. Voice rough. Yeah. I didn't ask them to. I figured. Silence again. He rubbed his face with both hands like he was trying to wake up from something. You shouldn't be here. He muttered. Probably not. Another pause. Then he laughed once. No humor. Guess I'm not the disciplined one anymore. I didn't respond. He stared at the floor. I lost the job in October. He said. They said performance concerns. That's corporate code for you're a liability. How bad is it, I asked. He shrugged. Bad enough. Needles. He didn't deny it. It started with the accident. He said. March 14th. Launsenling Arshar. Idwishintonovanta. Guy hit me at a red light. Back went out. Doctor gave me oxy. 30 milligrams. Twice a day. I nodded. I already knew. At first it was just pain management. He continued. Then it was. Quiet, no pressure. No expectations. No voice in my head telling me to stay ahead. He leaned back against the wall opposite me. You ever feel like if you stopped running for 1 second, everything would collapse? Yes. He looked at me. Surprised. I just ran in a different direction. He exhaled slowly. I couldn't fail. He said. Not once. Every grade had to be higher. Every review had to be perfect. Dad would say. That's my son. Like it was a performance review. It was. Connor gave a faint, bitter smile. You got to mess up. He said. You got to be average. No one expected anything. I met his eyes. You think that was easier? He hesitated. I'm saying. At least you weren't on display. I wasn't seen at all. That landed. He looked down. I was terrified of slipping. He admitted. Terrified of disappointing them. So when the pills made it quiet, I didn't want to stop. Even after the pain healed. He nodded. I told myself I deserved a break. Then I needed it. Then I couldn't function without it. He swallowed hard. I tried to email you. He said. My chest tightened. They told me. He frowned. What they found drafts. I sent them. He said. Or I thought I did. You didn't. He stood abruptly and grabbed his phone from the desk. Scrolled through contacts. See, he said. Turning the screen toward me. Your email. I read it. There was a period in the address. Mine never had one. When was this last edited, I asked. He checked. June 2023. Did you change it? No. We both went still. The realization moved through the room without needing explanation. They didn't want you involved. He said quietly. No. They told me you wouldn't care. I didn't answer. He sat back down slowly. I wrote to you in September. He said. I said I needed help. I said I couldn't go to them. My jaw tightened. I would have come. I know that now. We sat in silence again. Then he said something I didn't expect. I laughed that day. I looked at him. At graduation. He said. When Dad said it. I laughed. I remember. I was nervous. I didn't know what to do. It felt easier to go along with it than challenge him in front of everyone. That's always easier. He looked up at me. I'm sorry. He didn't look away this time. Not defensive. Not minimizing. Just direct. I should have said something. He continued. I knew it was wrong. I didn't know how to go against them. I studied his face. He looked exhausted. Not just from withdrawal. From years. Do you know what it was like? He said quietly. Being the favorite. No. It's a job. He replied. A performance. You don't get to fail. You don't get to fall apart. If you do, you're not special anymore. You think I wanted to be invisible? No. He said. But you got to be human. I almost laughed. I wasn't human. I said. I was background noise. He nodded slowly. Different cages. He said. Same house. He leaned back against the wall. I'm tired. He admitted. I don't want to be the golden son anymore. You're not. I said. He looked at the pill bottles on the nightstand. I don't know how to stop. That was the first honest thing he'd said. I stood up. You don't stop alone. He looked up at me. And you don't do it for them. For who? Then, for yourself. He studied me for a long moment. Are you here to save me? He asked. No. I said evenly. I'm here to give you a chance. That was the shift. Not brother versus brother. Not competition. Two men in a room. Raised by the same system. Broken in different ways. For the first time in our lives. We weren't ranking each other. We were comparing damage. And realizing it came from the same source. I walked downstairs alone. Connor stayed in his room. My parents were in the living room exactly where I'd left them. My mother perched on the edge of the couch. My father standing near the fireplace. arms crossed like he was preparing for negotiation. They both looked up when I entered. Well, my mother asked. Did he talk to you? Yes. And my father pressed. He's addicted. My father's jaw tightened. He's in pain. He's using needles. Silence. My mother looked down. I stayed standing. He needs residential treatment. I said. 90 days minimum. Medical detox. Structured program. Not this house. We can handle it here. My father said quickly. We'll hire a private doctor. No. He stiffened. I'm not asking. I continued. I'm telling you. The room went quiet in a way it never had when I lived there. What gives you the authority? My father asked. You called me. That shut him up. You said you didn't know what to do. I continued. Now you do. My mother spoke softly. What are you suggesting? I'll find a treatment center. Evidence-based. Not some image rehab retreat. Real detox. Real therapy. And we'll visit every weekend. My father added. No. His eyes snapped toward me. You will pay for it. I said. Every dollar. But you won't choose the facility. You won't monitor his sessions. You won't interfere. And you won't show up unless he asks. That's ridiculous. My father said. We're his parents. You're the reason he thinks he can't fail. He stepped toward me. Watch your tone. I didn't move. You want him sober? I asked. Or you want him presentable? That hit. My mother's composure cracked slightly. We just want our son back. She whispered. You never lost him. I replied. You lost control. My father's face flushed. You don't get to talk to us like that. I do. I said calmly. Because I don't need anything from you. That was the difference now. They felt it. I continued. Measured. Deliberate. Here are the conditions. I pulled my phone from my pocket. Not to check anything. Just to mark the moment. 90-day residential program. No home detox. No half measures. They stayed silent. You pay. Up front. A nod from my mother. You don't contact the facility unless he signs consent. My father started to object. Non-negotiable. I added. He closed his mouth. You don't frame this as Connor taking time off. You don't spin it. If anyone asks. You say he's in treatment. My father's expression hardened. That's private. No. I said. That's accountability. I stepped closer. And one more thing. They both looked at me. You don't speak for him anymore. The air shifted. My mother's eyes filled. What about us? She asked quietly. What about this family? I looked around the room. The beach couch. The mantle of photos. The absence of me. There was never a family. I said evenly. There was an image. That's not true. She said. Then tell me the last time you defended me. Silence. My father looked away first. I'm not doing this for you. I continued. I'm doing this because he deserves a chance to survive the pressure you put on him. That's unfair. My father said. But softer now. Is it no answer? I'll send you 3 facility options within 72 hours. I said. You'll transfer the money. No delays. And if we disagree? My father asked. Then I walk. The simplicity of it unsettled them more than anger would have. You wouldn't. My mother said. I held her gaze. I did for 7 years. That ended it. Connor appeared at the bottom of the stairs. Quiet but listening. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. I looked at him. You ready? I asked. He nodded once. Not confident. But decided. For the first time in that house. I wasn't the one at the end of the table. I spent the next 3 days researching treatment centers. Not casually. Methodically. 12 hours total. 8 facilities narrowed to 3. Cross-checked reviews. Verified licensing. Looked at relapse statistics. Staff credentials. Detox protocols. I wasn't outsourcing this to them. On February 20th. I chose one. Clearwater Recovery Institute. Western Michigan. Quiet property. Medical detox on-site. 90-day residential minimum. Structured therapy. No luxury branding. Cost $31,800. I emailed my parents the details. No commentary. Just numbers and intake date. February 23rd. 10:00 m. My father wired the deposit within 4 hours. Money had never been their problem. Accountability was. I picked Connor up that Friday at 7:12 a.m. He came downstairs with one duffel bag. No speech. No ceremony. My mother cried on the porch. My father stood behind her. Hands in pockets. Connor didn't hug them. He just said, I'll call when I can. We drove 2 hours west. Mostly silence. Halfway there he asked, do you think I can actually do this? Yes. You sound certain. I am. He nodded, staring out the window. I'm scared. He admitted. Good. I said. That means you understand what's at stake. We arrived at 9:58 a.m. The facility was plain. Clean. Not glamorous. That was a good sign. A woman named Karen met us at intake. They took his phone, his wallet, inventory of his bag. Standard procedure. Connor signed consent forms allowing staff to update me weekly. Not our parents. Me. When it was time to go, he stood awkwardly in the lobby. 7 years ago. We couldn't hold eye contact. Now he stepped forward and hugged me. It wasn't dramatic. Just firm. Thanks. He said. Don't thank me. I replied. Do the work? He nodded. Then the door closed behind him. I sat in my car for a minute. Not crying. Just recalibrating. I hadn't gone back to fix my family. I'd gone back to draw a line. March through May 2025. Connor was in treatment. Every Wednesday at 4:00 p.m. I received a clinical update call. Withdrawal phase was rough the first 10 days. Sweats. Insomnia. Irritability. He stayed. Week 3 group therapy participation increased. Week 5 began cognitive behavioral sessions focused on perfectionism and identity collapse. Week 6 first family session. Virtual. Just him and me. The therapist asked, what role did pressure play in your addiction? Connor didn't deflect. It was the only way I knew how to exist. He said. If I wasn't excelling, I didn't know who I was. And what happens when you remove excellence? She asked. He looked at the screen. I'm just a guy. I said. That's enough. He glanced at me. That moment mattered. Week 8, he admitted something I hadn't expected. I resented you. He said during session. You got to leave. I left because I had to. I know. But you were free. I was trapped. I didn't argue. Both statements were true. Week 12 completion date set. May 24th. Lansing Arshawu. 90 days. He finished. I drove to pick him up again. He looked different. Clear eyes. Steady posture. Gained 15 pounds. Hair trimmed. Shoulders square. Not perfect. But present. How does it feel? I asked. Quiet. He said. But real quiet. Not chemical. We drove back in daylight this time. He didn't return to our parents' house. Instead, he moved into a sober living home in Ann Arbor. $900 a month. Our parents paid. That was part of the agreement. He attended outpatient therapy 3 times a week. 90 AA meetings in 90 days. Got a part-time job at a bookstore. $15 an hour. Stocking shelves. No titles. No bonuses. He texted me at the end of his first week there. Made it 7 days. I responded, keep stacking them. By month 3, he was speaking differently. Less defensive. Less sharp. He started saying I feel, instead of they made. That shift mattered. Our parents requested visits. He declined at first. Month 4. He agreed to supervise sessions with a counselor present. I wasn't involved. That was his boundary to manage. October 2025. He texted me 6 months sober today. I read it twice before replying. Proud of you. He responded, couldn't have done it without you. I typed back, you did it. I just showed up. Because that was the truth. I didn't rescue him. I refused to let him drown quietly. By December, he enrolled part-time in community college. Psychology. Ironic. Maybe fitting. We weren't close in the way movies define close. No late-night bonding montages. But we were honest. And that was new. For the first time in our lives. We weren't competing. We were rebuilding. Slowly. On purpose. It's been almost a year since that call at 9:47 p.m. The one that started with, come home. I went. I helped Connor. And then I left again. But this time, I didn't leave angry. I left clear. Connor is 10 months sober now. He's working part-time. Taking classes. Renting a room he pays for with money he earns. Not impressive on paper. Impressive in reality. My parents send occasional texts. Holiday messages. Birthday cards. I don't respond. Not out of spite. Out of boundary. People ask me if I regret going back. If helping the same family that erased me was weakness. It wasn't. I didn't go back to reconcile. I went back to prove something to myself. That I could stand in that house again and not shrink. That I could look at the people who called me useless and not need them to take it back. Healing doesn't mean reunion. Boundaries aren't cruelty. They're structure. Connor is choosing his own relationship with them. That's his decision. Mine is distance. And I'm at peace with it. If you've ever been the overlooked one, the comparison, the afterthought at the end of the table, I want to ask you something. What was your moment? The moment you realized no one was coming to save you, and you had to build something anyway. Did I do the right thing? Should I have let him hit bottom alone? Should I forgive my parents for the sake of family I don't know? Maybe there isn't a right answer. Just choices, consequences, and the decision to be stronger than the system that raised you. My name is Ryan Mitchell. I'm 27 years old. And I was never useless.